This is a Code Ninja security advisory. We are tracking a critical vulnerability, designated CVE-2023-43000. Your immediate attention is required.
All right, let's get straight to it. This is not a drill and it's not a theoretical threat. We are tracking a high-risk vulnerability with known public exploits actively being used in the wild right now. This is an immediate threat to your perimeter.
So what are we looking at? The vulnerability is identified as CVE-2023-43000. The flaw itself is located in the WebKit browser engine. And that's a problem. Why? Because WebKit is a critical component used by a ton of different vendors, which makes the potential attack surface incredibly broad.
Our objective with this advisory is simple and has two parts. First, we're here to arm you with the actionable intel you need to secure your assets immediately. Second, this disclosure is meant to apply pressure and light a fire under the vendors to accelerate that patch cycle.
Okay, before we dive into the technical details, we need to establish a secure comms link. It is absolutely critical that you receive our threat intelligence in real time.
To maintain this link, you need to subscribe to this channel, CyberTech79, and, this is important, enable all notifications. Look, this isn't about vanity metrics. It's a security necessity. When a threat of this magnitude drops, you need to know about it instantly.
Next, I need you to formally acknowledge that you've received this intelligence transmission. Just hit the like button, then report your operational status in the comments below. A simple patched or vulnerable will do. This field data is absolutely critical for us to gauge the overall blast radius of this thing.
Okay, comms link is established. Let's move on. We're now going to assess the full blast radius. That means the technical impact and exactly which systems are at risk.
All right, the first thing you need to see is this number, 8.8. That is its CVSS version 3.1 base score. You know the scale. Anything north of 8.0 is considered high severity. So an 8.8, yeah, that tells you just how critical this flaw really is.
Now, let's break down the vector, because this is where it gets really interesting. The attack vector is network, which means it can be exploited remotely, from anywhere. Attack complexity is low, so an attacker doesn't need to be a genius to pull this off. And privileges required? None. The attacker needs zero prior access. The only barrier at all is that user interaction is required, but that could be as simple as tricking someone into visiting a malicious web page. And the payoff for the attacker? High impact across the board, confidentiality, integrity, and availability.
So, what's happening under the hood? The technical root here is a CVE-416, also known as a use-after-free flaw. In plain English, it's a memory management screw-up. The program frees a chunk of memory, but it forgets to clear the pointer to it. An attacker can then exploit that dangling pointer to write to that memory location, which can lead directly to memory corruption and, you guessed it, arbitrary code execution on the target system. And this really shows you how wide that blast radius is. We're talking about the entire Apple consumer ecosystem here. macOS, iOS, iPadOS, and Safari are all vulnerable. At the same time, it's hitting the enterprise space, specifically Red Hat Enterprise Linux versions 7, 8, and 9 through the WebKitGTK package. And to top it all off, the exploit tool, which we're tracking as Coruna, is confirmed to be active in the wild.
Okay, this brings us to the most critical part of this advisory. The mitigation protocol. These are the immediate, actionable steps you need to take to secure your systems. Listen up. For anyone with assets in the Apple ecosystem, the directive is clear. It is non-negotiable. Patch immediately. Update macOS Ventura to version 13.5. Get iOS and iPadOS up to 16.6, and make sure Safari is updated to version 16.6. Seriously, there is no substitute for patching here.
For those of you on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, your protocol is a bit more tiered. Priority 1, always, is to update. Get those RHSA patches for WebKit2GTK3 and WebKitGTK4 applied as soon as humanly possible. Now, if patching is delayed for some reason, your second priority is to mitigate. That means you do not allow your systems to process untrusted web content, period. Priority 3 for WebKitGTK3 is remove. If the package isn't required for anything, just get rid of it. You can do that without consequence. But, and this is a big one, exercise extreme caution with WebKitGTK4. Removing that package might just break your GNOME graphical desktop interface.
Finally, let's have a quick debrief. I want to talk about our operational doctrine and why this kind of public disclosure is such an essential tool in our cybersecurity arsenal.
We operate under the principles of coordinated vulnerability disclosure. This quote right here, it really encapsulates our entire mission. We map the threat landscape and we push that intelligence out so that you, the defenders on the front lines, can immediately deploy effective mitigations. Keeping this stuff secret only benefits the attacker.
This concludes the advisory for CVE 2023-43000. Now go patch your systems. Stay secure.